Hi folks, welcome to my irregulars and those of you who are walking through the door for the first time. You might have heard the Negronis and you're trying to work out, can I use whiskey in a Negroni? Yeah, maybe you can, maybe you can't, who knows. But we're gonna give it a shot anyway. So we got some booze. So on this episode of Mahogany, we're going to do the drunk uncle. Alright, so we're going to be doing a drunk uncle. Now, whether I need to pretend to be inebriated or not is open for interpretation, of course. Now, I mentioned there a little bit around about a Negroni. Negroni, bitter drink. Campari, gin, vermouth. Of course, you can swap out some of the base alcohol there, such as the gin. For, let's say, cognac, you're going to get yourself a Boulevardier. Maybe mezcal, and then you're going to get yourself a smoky Negroni. And of course, you get a Sabagliato, where you're actually adding a little bit of a sparkling wine into it, because it's a mistake that you're actually making there. So there's variations of that. Of course, what if you swap out the base for whiskey, as in Scotch, as in whiskey? It's going to change the whole profile. Now, I've never actually tried one where it's Campari, sweet vermouth, and whiskey. But this one here, the Drunk Uncle, what we've got is we've got whiskey, we've got a vermouth, white vermouth, but then the bitter that we're actually using is Cynar. Now, Cynar is an amaro. That is I've got a little glass here, which is pronounced flavour is artichoke or artichoke hearts. Now there are a significant number of other herbs in there as well. You've got the standard, cheers, flavour. There's a bitterness, there's a sharpness to it. Sweet as well. It's a liqueur. Amaro, liqueur, sweet, bitter, herbaceous, medicinal qualities to it. Of course, when you actually see the colour of it as well, you mean like that looks like medicine. A lot of these things that were actually designed had alleged medicinal properties to it as well. So that's where a lot of these come from. Maybe not to the same degree that buckfast might be of benefit to your health and your health regime, but certainly good for you anyway. But it's delicious. If you tasted this in comparison to Campari, there is Campari's got kind of a lighter bitterness to it, and this is like a deeper bitterness to it. I don't know what the hell that means. It's just trying to think through flavour profiles, and I think that's about the easiest way I can think about it. We'll talk a little bit more about the whiskey in a second once we get to actually mixing this. So I'm going to do it back to front here. We're going to start with the Cynar, and we'll add that in first of all. Now, for each cocktail, 3 1/4 ounces of Cynar. So that's going to be, that's going to be 1.5, because I'm making 2. There we go. You can see that very dark colour there. As I mentioned, looks very medicinal. White vermouth. Again, 3/4 ounce, so we're going to do 1.5. It's 1 and alright. Now, when you look at the recipes for a Drunk Uncle, it's predominantly going to call out for an Islay whiskey. And generally, an Islay whiskey is going to be something that is, we've got one in here. Yeah, we've got one. We've got a Lagavulin in here. So, Lagavulin, something that's actually pretty heavily peated. Lagavulin, Bunnahabhain, Laphroaig, Bowmore's not quite as peaty. Kalila certainly is as well. And there's a few others as well that have around about the island. There's some new ones as well. Of course, Ardbeg. They've got their wee beastie, which is a very, very smoky one as well. So there you go. Little trip around a couple of the distilleries in Islay. But what I've actually got here is Glenturret. And Glenturret doesn't do peated whiskies, or did not do peated whiskies. And then recently on the last visit over to Scotland, I was at the Whisky Tasting Society, and I came across this pretty interesting, at the end, the last sample that I got was actually this peated whisky, and some of the wording around it was funky, as it was actually described, and it was absolutely delicious. It was funky, smoky, but not to the same style as like an Islay whiskey. It's a little bit different. There's I'll go through the tasting actually. I'll come back to that actually as my mind was thinking through it. Now, the funky component of it was, there's like, it's not a sourness, but it's like some kind of meat that's been smoked, it's also been aged as well, and then they've put that in a bottle and it's now turned into a whiskey. It doesn't taste anything like meat, but it's just something, almost like something gamey in some respects. It's not gamey tasting, but that kind of idea of that flavour profile itself. Glenturret will probably string me up for that one. You know, I then went to I didn't know what the whiskey was, and then I worked out that it was Glenturret. I went to the Pot Still in Glasgow, which has got a great whiskey selection there, great staff, and what they actually did is let me smell like there was a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old of this Glenturret peated. And bingo, the 7-year-old really jumped out. Smell matched it perfectly. Whether it was or wasn't, I think it is, may not be. So, this is a Glenturret 7-year-old peated. That's why I'm going to give this one a shot, because this whiskey, this is me now onto, I was in Scotland 3 months ago. This is me onto my second bottle of this one. Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. First of all, you taste it, but by God, does it get you hooked, my goodness. And it's in the box here because this bottle just now, many whiskies have got great bottles as well, but this bottle itself has such an Art Deco feel to it. And you remember I said I'd been through 2 bottles of it? Well, it's a heavy bottle, and guess what? I picked up the empty bottle. Tell you what, give me a minute, I'll go and get the actual bottle that's actually got whiskey in it, alright? And there we go. There's one that's actually got whiskey in it. Fabulous looking bottle. As I said, a little bit of an Art Deco style to it. I'm not going to wax too much about this, but really is a very, very nice whiskey. Hold on, let me just get this out of the way. I know what it tastes like. I'm not going to taste that again by itself. I'm going to put this straight in here now. Again, people will be like, what are you, some friggin' Philistine mixing a very good whiskey in a cocktail? Good ingredients make better drinks overall. There is that funkiness, it's bizarre. It's like a sourness to it, but it isn't sour at the same time. Alright, so it's 1.5 ounces of your whiskey. If you're going to go with an Islay, go with an Islay. You can get your hands on this. Now they do the 7, a 10, a 12, and then I think they've got some older ones as well. Oh boy, this is going to be a powerful drink as well. Alright, so that was 1.5 ounces for each drink, so that was 3 ounces in total. Does that give me? Yeah, I've still got enough there to keep me going for a wee while yet. Alright, let's chill this one down. We're not shaking, we've got it in the glass, our mixing glass. We're actually just going to stir this one to chill it down. Get our ice in. So of course with the with the ice, you're chilling, you get a little bit of dilution as well. More ice in it means that you're going to get it chilled down quicker with less dilution, so you're able to control that. Give me a minute while we get this chilled down, okay? And there we go. Alright, down there. Coupe glass, whatever if you want. You know what, think about this Scottish cocktail. Coupes, Martini, whatever you want to put it in. Coupe one's good for this though, okay? Alright, so let's strain it into our glasses. Looks nice and clear, this one, doesn't it? There we go. This one. Interesting twist. Grapefruit. So, go with a grapefruit there. Here she goes. Okay, there we go. Alright. Another one I have not tried before. So, whiskey Negroni. Let's see what this actually tastes like. Always amazes me how, whether it's 2-3 ingredients, how they can all play together and make just this unique drink and flavour profile and something that just dances across the taste buds. Alright. Cynar is a very strong drink, but if you're using a smoky whiskey, balances out very well. Smokiness is still there. This is highly, this is a potent smoke. It's a clean, that's what I was getting at earlier on. It's a very clean smoke. It's technically clean, which is interesting. It's technically clean, but it's funky and it's sour at the same time. It's the oddest drink and one of the best that I've actually tasted in quite a long time. So enough about that one though. So, good. Cynar balances it out. Now what's interesting is the vermouth itself, you'd think it's going to get completely lost. But there's not. There's a little sweetness. The three, it's like a Venn diagram actually. You got the Cynar, you got the whiskey, and then you got the vermouth, and there's definitely this point in the middle where the vermouth seems to just kind of shine through. It actually brightens it. That's what it does. The vermouth, the white vermouth brightens it all up. Would I call it a Negroni? Nah, I'm not going to call it a Negroni. It's not, it's too far away from it. But a whiskey bitter drink, yeah, you can do that. I tell you, this actually is a fucking classy drink. Your drunk uncle would be very proud of that. And undoubtedly with a few of those, many of your aunts, uncles and other family members would probably get pretty fucking trousered pretty rapidly actually, to be honest. This is a fantastic drink. This is a great one. Alright. Everybody, enjoy your... This is a weird one to actually say. Could come across as a bit awkward at some point, depending on your family members. But anyway, everybody, enjoy your drunk uncles. Cheers.